do you understand all the moving parts in a clinical research setting, just as a general bird's eye overview, like the research clinics, the sponsors, the CRO, the CRAs, the patients? Do you know how all those players sort of interact?
Good question.
Because we can start there.
Me or just in general?
You or Vincent. I know Chris knows, but I mean, I can get into it a little bit if you would like, just to give you like the bird's eye overview.
If you wish to refresh my memory.
Yeah, sure. So.
Because I took notes. I did take a lot of notes.
That's good.
But unfortunately, I just not able to get home in time for the call, so I took my notes and refreshed my memory.
Yeah, for most students. Yeah, no. For most students, it starts to click around week 5, week 6. So, I'm not expecting you to be an expert on this stuff by any means. Essentially, when a drug company or a medical device company or a therapeutic company is designing a new product, it's what they call an investigational product. Okay, what happens there is that they have to do a clinical trial. They have to do a series of clinical trials in order to get FDA approval. Okay, so in this country, it's the FDA that approves what treatments make it to market. So in order to get this approval, they've got to do a series of tests. It starts with phase 1 and it ends with phase 3 clinical trials. So now who does these tests? So that the drug company or the device maker, they build out a protocol, and a protocol is very much like a cookbook for somebody to just pick up and follow. So what they do, they'll write the protocol, and then they'll look at different doctors across the country, and these are researchers who are physicians, and ideally who have the target patient population that the investigational product is looking to address, right? And so these, they will search for these, what they call research sites, or research clinics, or clinical trial centers. They are all synonymous. Investigative sites. Anytime you hear, the reason why clinical research is so confusing to a lot of people is they just throw synonyms around. There's like 20 different words for the same thing. So when you hear investigative site, research clinic, research site, they're all the same thing. They're just doctors that have their own offices and their own clinics, and they take these protocols and they conduct the study, not the way they want to conduct the study, but the way that the protocol specifies that they conduct the study. Okay, so now how do we know that those doctors are following the protocol? Well, that's where the role of a clinical research associate comes into this picture. And the CRA is the one who is the liaison between the sponsor and the research site, and they are looking at the sites to make sure that they're following the protocol and that they're following what's called good clinical practice. And those are the guidelines by which the FDA expects that the conduct of research on human volunteers is conducted according to good clinical practice. So in your mandatory training, you're actually, one of the things you've got to do is do your own good clinical practice module, get certified, and just so you understand the guidelines that the FDA has put in place. Now, within these research clinics, so these CRAs, they don't work for the research clinics. They work for companies called CROs, Contract Research Organizations. And the contract research organizations hire the CRAs, and then who works for the doctors are the clinical research coordinators or the study coordinators. So The study coordinators are the ones that are employed by the doctors, the study doctors at each individual site. They are also called the principal investigators. Okay, so the principal investigators are the doctors. They have study coordinators working in their offices, and the study coordinators are doing the majority of the work as far as following the protocol. But what the principal investigators do is they maintain oversight over the study. So they're looking at things like safety. Safety is the number one biggest thing in clinical research. You want to make sure that the study volunteers are safe while they're in the study. So you gotta constantly be on the lookout for adverse events. So what a site selection visit is, coming back to our first module, what a site selection visit is it's the sponsor's way of identifying which investigators are the right fit for that particular protocol. And the way they figure that out is they send CRAs out to the sites to conduct site selection visits. So during the site selection visit, the CRA will look at all the things covered in the module, right? They'll look at the investigator qualifications, who the study coordinator is, experience levels, what kind of facilities do they have, are they maintaining their calibration logs for the equipment, are they maintaining their temperature logs, what kind of a patient population do they have, are they going to be able to enroll patients in the study? That's oftentimes one of the biggest issues in clinical research is lack of patient participation. So that's what a site selection visit is. It's a CRA going out to assess potential investigators, and then they will submit their report back to the sponsor, who will then make the decision on who is going to be selected to participate in that study. Which doctors, which principal investigators are going to be selected to follow the protocol that they created. And so site selection visits the first step in that process. And that's what the CRA just does. So that sets up the context for the week 1 module, site selection visits.